𝗪𝗏𝗠 praised Bodega owners in his victory speech. They're not happy he won. In fact, one of them said, "We are on the way to becoming a communist state. The government seizes the means of production," right? What could possibly go wrong? Let's get into it. Here we go. Oh, the memes on 𝗪𝗠 are they're so funny. I mean, they're just absolutely shredding socialism, shredding communism. This guy got elected. New York, good luck with that. New York City, good luck with that. And, my end, podcasts for days, weeks, months, because none of this stuff is really going to work out, right? I mean, it doesn't work. It never has. It never will. But hey, let's give it a run and just try one more time. It's kind of like we just need to build more housing. Yeah, but that's never going to solve the problem. So what are you doing? What are you talking about? 𝗪𝗏𝗠 was met with applause. Maybe a golf clap, right? With applause when he name-checked Yemeni bodega owners during his acceptance speech Tuesday evening. While 𝗪𝗠, the mayor-elect of New York City, may consider the owners of the city's trademark delis as part of his multi-ethnic working-class coalition, the owners themselves are less than thrilled, I can't imagine why, with the socialists their neighbors elected. That's not a good thing, one shop owner said, told the Daily Wire this week when asked about 𝗪𝗠's pledge to open state-run grocery stores. We've seen this before. You know how it turns out? They get closed down in record time because the citizenry robs them blind. Hey, free groceries. Right? Kansas City, great example. I'm not with that. The owner also expressed frustration that he would have to pay, property taxes and, rent. While government-operated stores would not. Make that make sense. Now, why do we have this? Why is 𝗪𝗠 doing this? Because groceries are so damn expensive in New York City. Why are they so expensive? Because everything has been baked in the cost, and it's just super expensive, right? I mean, that's on a national level as well. Groceries went up, right? Everything went up. Everything went up when you have massive inflation just running rampant. After you take a hot economy and dump a few $1 trillion on it. We'll see what happens. This should be great. Greatest thing ever, right? And then we still got inflation running years down the road. Years. And we're still dealing with that, right? So you got a situation where this guy has campaigned on multiple, hey, free childcare. How's that really going to work? Yeah, don't really know. He's going to do a rent freeze. Oh, that'll be perfect. No issues there. And then we got state-run grocery stores, city-run grocery stores. But the sad part is that it's the people in the city who made these decisions. New York is already messed up, liquor store owner said. They had a choice between Cuomo and this knucklehead, and they chose the knucklehead, so we're going to pay for it. Yep, you are. Because things have gotten so expensive, and a lot of that is because you've baked in the cost. Now, look at housing. You just made everything so expensive that people are moving out in droves. They are moving out from New York. They are moving out from California. They are moving to Texas. They are moving to Florida. We're moving to the Carolinas. I've mentioned this many, many, many times because that's literally where they're going because it's cheaper. Because it's cheaper. He added that younger voters don't know what democracy is or how the legislative process works. He compared the state of the city to kids running the school or inmates running the asylum. Inmates running the prison. Should work out fine. I mean, 𝗪𝗠 is what, 30-something? I mean, he's never really run anything at all. So why wouldn't his concepts of, hey, let's just make everything really cheap or free, why wouldn't that work? Many of 𝗪𝗠's policies are controversial, but one in particular struck a chord with small business owners. 30 by 30, $30 by 30. Planned to nearly double the city's minimum wage from $16.50 to $30 per hour by 2030. Currently, the city raises the minimum wage by 50 cents a year. Under 𝗪𝗠's plan, it would jump by $3.50 annually. We've seen what happens here in Seattle when that happens. When you make DoorDash And Uber Eats, the most expensive delivery services in the United States, Seattle has done that. When you make Uber and Lyft the most expensive in the United States, Seattle has done that. Guess what happens to demand? It shrinks. People don't want to take an Uber. They don't want to take a whatever. So, and that's if you can keep the business operating. And that's the deal, right? Oh, let's just jump up that minimum wage to $30. Should be fine. Think of how many places family owned that will have to difficulty making payroll because you've doubled your payroll. Said a flower shop owner. Overnight, half of the mom and pop shops will go out of business. And then I'll have more podcasts because, I'll podcast every single one of those. Another store just went out of business due to terrible ideology. Mamdani in particular. Socialism, straight up socialism. He believes Mamdani's policies will take New York in the wrong direction. We are on the way to becoming a communist state. Another shop owner added that the wage hikes will inevitably force prices to rise. Of course they will. $30 minimum wage will result in the product going up. Mamdani's affordability pledge also includes making city buses free. So who's going to pay for that? Oh, taxpayers. Yeah, enjoy that. Enjoy that, taxpayers. Free buses do not work well in New York City. Currently, the $2.90 bus fare make up about 40% of the transit ability's revenue. Mamdani also wants to freeze rent. Every single one of these is going to be a great podcast. New York City Mayor, what Zoran Mamdani's win means for your rent, commute, and city-owned grocery stores. Rent freeze, free buses, $30 minimum. What's realistic and when? So let's talk about that for a second. Rent freeze. Maybe. Yeah. Free buses? Can you get that through? Where's the money going to come from when you've got these massive budget deficits? Where's the money going to come up to make up for, tolls for fare? Where's that money going to come from? Well, it's got to come from somewhere. $30 minimum wage. What's realistic? I don't think a lot of this is realistic. How about New York City billionaire John 𝗥𝗘𝗠𝗦𝗢𝗔 rages over Zoran Mamdani win? I don't give a you-know-what about grocery stores. That is so classic. So the owner of Red Apple Group, which has a whole bunch of media, real estate, fossil fuels, and just a bunch of other grocery chains. New York can't afford to lose more people. And that's exactly what will happen is people will move out because they won't be able to afford it. And they're like, my quality of life sucks. He said he's most concerned about the threat of Mamdani cutting the police force and about whom the mayor-elect appoints to judgeships. Yeah. Just more critical questions that we don't have answers for because New York City just elected a commie. Straight up communist. Yeah. They're calling it a socialist, but yeah. Okay. So, and communism and socialism has always worked so well. Hey, let's give it a run. Let's just give it a run, see how it goes. Economist torches Mamdani's city-run grocery plan as doomed experiment that will cost taxpayers. Sounds very good on paper. Free always does, says Dr. Ann Rathbone-Bradley, economics professor and vice president of academic affairs at the Fund for American Studies. Pilot program, which would launch 5 stores in the city, 1 in each borough, is a key part of his progressive platform to lower costs. It's just not going to. It's going to fail, and taxpayers are going to, again, get stuck holding the bill, have to raise taxes even more for a debacle like this, and it won't work. It will not work. There's not enough incentive in it, and people will rob the stores blind, and it's just absolutely, it's insane. But hey, if you can get elected, throwing out a bunch of ideas, why not? It seems to be working, right? It seems to be working because the constituents that voted this guy in aren't too bright. They don't really get reality. The problem is believing that the economy is an engineering project, she explained. That's when we put smart, well-intentioned people in charge of that project. We can kind of redirect things in certain ways and get the outcomes that we want. The results of this plan, she says, have already been seen in other cities who've tried it. Similar programs in Kansas City, Missouri, and Florida collapsed despite millions in taxpayer funding. But you know what? Let's just go ahead and try it again. Let's just give it a whirl and we'll see what happens. It should be great. Oh, it's going to be great. Literally, get out that popcorn. Now, my question is how much can he actually of this get enacted? It sounds great, and you've got all those millennials and younger just, super excited about, I'm getting free healthcare. My rent's frozen. Yeah, but what's the impact to your economy? What's the impact to businesses leaving? What's the impact to people leaving? Because you're going to have your most wealthy taken off to Florida, taken off to Texas. One of my podcasts yesterday was Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, kind of half joking, kind of half not, saying that he was going to put 100% tariff on people from New York City coming to Texas. Gonna tariff you. Kind of making fun of the whole Trump thing, but it's true. Hey, you've been voting for crappy policymakers who have made New York City crappy. Don't then come to Texas and make crappy decisions in Texas. You've already had a lifetime of making terrible decisions that put New York City in the position it's in. Same thing with Washington State, same thing with Oregon, same thing with California. If you've lived there forever and you voted blue, you're the problem because it's all policy driven. Where are people going? People are moving to red states consistently. They're not only moving there, so you've got population there, you've got money going there. And in order to fund all of this absolute brain dead ridiculousness, the free partridge in a pear tree, you're going to have to tax the F out of businesses, rich people, whatever it is. You're going to have to absolutely tax and they're already getting taxed. It's like Washington State is dropping by the minute in desirability because you've got a whole bunch of progressives that don't understand that when you keep raising the taxes and you keep pushing progressive ideology on a business environment, those businesses will do one thing and they will go away. They will move away. And that's what will happen in New York City as well. I think you're on the cusp of seeing just a whole bunch more people because let's be honest, you've already had a massive out-migration from New York. And you've also had out-migration from not only Illinois, but California. And things are not going well in Oregon. They're not going well in Washington State because you are taking away the incentive for businesses to come here who hire people. People have jobs. People then can afford stuff. That's how this works, right? So those stores have failed to remain open, she said, referring to the Kansas City store, closed its doors in August after struggling with empty shelves and crime. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, right? City-owned Missouri grocery store closes as Mamdani campaigns for some in New York because why wouldn't he? The stupid people there have elected him. Oh, this could be the greatest thing ever. Okay. All right. I mean, maybe. No. We've seen how this game is played. And I'm realizing more and more that just every 20 years or so, somebody gives this a run and says, why don't we rework this socialist idea, throw it out there, it could be the greatest thing ever. And then you implement it, and it ends up just like this. Missouri grocery store closes because it's not viable. It's not a viable entity, and it won't work long term. And the city has to close it down, right? They're losing too much money. It doesn't make sense. Never made sense. But hey, let's go ahead and give out free bus rides to everybody because, that's not that hard to figure out, right? How much is it a bus ride? $40 million to the budget, whatever it was. But let's just make that free. And then, why don't we make Ubers free too? Why don't we make airfare in New York City free? I want free airfare. I want to see New York City provide free airfare. Just, fly around. Great. Best thing ever. Just fly around. What else could we give out for free? Let's give out computers. I mean, free cell phones. Let's give them an Obama phone, but, make it a Mamdani phone. I mean, the list could just go on. Let's just free everything. I mean, it's, as long as it's free, we're all good, right? It's all good. It's free. Nobody pays for it. I don't know how this works. Government pays for it, right? The government pays for it. But where's the government get its money? Yeah, I'm not really sure, but to get back to you on that, right? Yeah. The logic is so missing from this. That's the equation, right? The logic is just completely missing because we've seen it before. We've seen it again. We fought wars over this nonsense. And yet here we are electing a Democratic Socialist of America to run the biggest city in New York, in United States, who has zero experience. But let's rah him onto victory. I'm not saying Andrew Cuomo was, the be all and end all. And you got a guy that's been accused of some, grab assing by 21 women or whatever that was. That is not exactly a clean optics candidate, right? I mean, that's the best you can do. It's like, how do we get these candidates? It's like, that's my choice. That's my choice. How does that make sense? That doesn't make any sense at all. But, I guess for New York City, this is what they wanted. They wanted some guy like this, and they're so desperate for some kind of change because their own policies have basically ruined their lives. Policies that they voted in place. It's not like these things just came out of nowhere, and it's not like the red states just all of a sudden things got super cheap or cheaper, relatively more affordable. It's not like that happened overnight. Years upon years of failed policy that won't work, that doesn't work now, that won't work in the future. But hey, let's give it a run because it's what I ran on a campaign of. It's going to be great. I mean, it is going to be great because it's literally reworking something that we've proven time and time and time again that will not be effective. And we're going to be able to go kick back and go, yeah, yeah. Well, we told you, but you are literally a knucklehead and did not listen. And it'll be one of those things where, if we just had more housing, that whole ridiculous idea, if we just had some more housing, pricing would come down, we could afford to get everybody into a house that's homeless. Just absolute nonsense. Nonsense. If we just give the drug addicts some clean needles, they'll get better and, kumbaya will happen. More progressive, just absolute BS that doesn't help. It does the opposite. It impacts people negatively because you're giving them everything but the drugs. Let's put a freeze on rent. Okay, what's going to happen to the landlords, the people who are actually responsible for providing said housing? It's not going to work out well for them, is it? Oh, we don't really care. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. I don't think the majority of what Mamdani has proposed, he's going to be able to get through. He's just not. It's going to get held up 10 ways from Sunday. But I could be wrong, and I hope I am. Because the more that he's able to push through of this ridiculous progressive ideology, the more podcasts I'll have. So make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, share with friends and family. That gets the story out there. Thanks again for joining. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.